Conway Hall, London, where ethics matter.
So a few years ago I read the book Civilisation, The West and the Rest by Niall Ferguson, and he says that civilizations revolve around cities. But then when you look at nature, the first question I sort of thought of was, are there any other cities in nature apart from human cities? And I was surprised then that I first discovered there are cities made by ants, by termites, by honeybees. But then the most amazing discovery was that bacteria do make cities. So they made their own cities. They start with small gatherings, small villages, which then grow and get enlarged, turn into cities, and then few cities merge to produce a megalopolis, bacterial megalopolis. So the first bacterial cities were made about 3,000 million years ago. So essentially the first urbanized and therefore the first civilized organisms in the history of life are bacteria. Everything started from them. The biocivilization starts with bacteria, and then we have every single species having their own civilization. We are the latest. Actually, Darwin taught the same, so it's Darwin's idea, because after his first book, he published another one in which he argued that the natural selection is not the only way how nature operates. Nature operates through aesthetical choices, and those aesthetical choices is how, say, ladybirds select their partners in the sexual game to get a progeny. So basically, the evolution is also about aesthetics. We know in particular that plants have a very specific way of communication. They talk through perfumes. And these are basically their ways of producing words, sentences, and communication. But the interesting thing about plants is that their language can be understood by, say, insects such as ants, by bacteria, by fungi, by yeast, even by birds. And in this process, a communication, multi-species communication emerges that, say, produces the ecological communities in forests. Forests are trees, basically. So trees have the infrastructure for forest hidden underground. It's now called the wood wide web, like the underground internet, basically. And the main communicators, they are not plants, but they made a symbiosis with fungi. Fungi live in their roots, and then the fungi basically make extensions underground that now serves for like communication channels. Leaf catarrhs in South America, they build underground cities that are about 2 or 3 meters deep and 8 meters wide, and these are really huge given that ants are very small. And in those cities they have everything that exists in our cities. Roads, highways, buildings. In those buildings they put their gardens, they use yeast to do agriculture. They even have army barracks or police stations because they have to constantly defend themselves against attackers. So virtually almost everything that exists as infrastructure in our cities does exist in the cities of ants, maybe even in the cities of termites or honeybees. So if we search for an ideal world in the biocivilizations that we can mimic, such ideal world basically in individual form does not exist. What is the ideal is the entire biocivilization, and that's the Gaia hypothesis. So the entire biosphere, everyone shares experiences, and biocivilizations is our discovery that there are cognitive worlds outside our own that can teach us very important lessons. Essentially, artificial intelligence and computers, man-made machines, operate on completely different terms. We are not computers, we are not digital machines. We have the freedom of thinking and learning, whereas computers, basically, their communication, their language consists of zeros and ones, and they do not understand. They simply repeating what they programmed to do. They don't have creativity. So the biocivilization, the message there is that there is a huge difference, fundamental difference between the living world, us, plants, bacteria, and the artificial intelligence on the other side. Artificial intelligence is useful because it can help us humans resolve the problems in our culture. But there is no way that the artificial intelligence can turn into artificial life. So life and artificial intelligence, these are completely different categories of logic.